The never say die Sharks. They do it again.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, the number one sports podcast network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And they figure out a way to do it again as the San Jose Sharks overcome a 5-1 deficit midway through the third period, down by 4 goals. The Sharks come back and steal a win in Pittsburgh, winning 6-5 in overtime. We're going to talk about how Macklin Celebrini continues to add chapters to his already historic career at this young age. Will Smith leaving this game and what this might mean for the Sharks in the upcoming future. And defensive issues continue. So we'll kind of break down all this stuff here. So before we do that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Macklin Celebrini, as long as he is wearing teal and skating for the San Jose Sharks, they're going to have a chance to win every game. And this performance shows why, right? You know, big game for Celebrini, but going up against Crosby, the guy he has been compared to the most, right? All the Crosby, just everything the way that they play, the style, all that stuff, right? Celebrini knows this important game in front of one of the players he grew up idolizing. And again, trying to copy and match his game as best as possible. And what better way to, again, put on the franchise on your back and carry them to a win that you had no chance. You at one point, it felt like you had no chance, no business winning this game, right? Your star winger knocked out in this game. You lose another top 6 guy in this game. You're down by 4 goals, and you come back and win it because Celebrini, again, just dragging this team, kicking and screaming to wins that it does not, at times feels like they do not deserve. All right. And the Sharks deserve this win. Don't get me wrong. The Penguins definitely, right, put the game in neutral, tried to park the bus, and credit to the Sharks for it would have been very easy for them. Will Smith gets knocked out. This just not our day, right? Just not our day today. Let's pack it up. We got go home. Let's regroup. We got a game on Tuesday. It's been a long road trip. Let's just pack it up. But no. Right, Smith gets hurt. Celebrini jumps in there, fights. Not really a fight, but he stands up for Will Smith, right? And not only that, right, comes out and puts the Sharks on his back there. And we'll talk about Klingberg here in a second. Klingberg gets a lot of credit too, but Celebrini, that is why he is going to be the next captain of the San Jose Sharks, and they should do it tomorrow. They should do it on the freaking plane right now because this kid is the captain of the Sharks. He is the captain of the Sharks, and it's everything but the letter on his chest. Just stop screwing around. Macklin Celebrini is your captain, and he continues to prove it again and again. Just an amazing performance by Celebrini and by this entire team, right? Klingberg gets 2 goals. Celebrini gets a goal. Toffoli gets 2 goals. Eklund gets a goal, right? And the Sharks, who could have easily, like, this could have been a 5-1 game. We're talking about, oh man, this really sucks. This team continues, despite the odds, right, and all the analytics saying this team is horrible. They continue just to find ways to get it done. And when you have a special player like Macklin Celebrini, sometimes it just doesn't matter, because that guy is just different than anybody else on the ice. Celebrini continues to prove that he is a just different player than anybody else on the ice. What a performance. What a performance by the San Jose Sharks. So, John Klingberg, who, again, on this podcast, many of negative things have said about Klingberg. He has been finding his game, and we get the Klingberg performance from him. 2 goals, including the game winner today. He gets the goal number 2 to really kind of spark the rally there on the power play when it's a 5-on-3 situation. Klingberg, whatever, like the changes that he's talked about, right? Kind of figuring out what he can do and can't do and whatever, it's working, because this road trip for Klingberg has been, is really coming together with his game. And right, can he continue to do this for the rest of the season? We'll see. But right now, you take it. You 100% take it, because John Klingberg has been a catalyst for the Sharks and was a catalyst for them today, right? And that play, that the game-winning goal there, right? Just great little move by Klingberg, gets it over to Celebrini, frees himself up, and then, turns his hips and opens it up and just crushes that into the wide open net. And poor Silva just had no chance there. But the way the Sharks team was playing at the end of the third period, right? You knew as soon as it got to overtime, and we've talked about this before, right? Where teams, when they're trying to turn the offense back on, it's so hard for them compared to the teams that have been pushing to tie things up, right? And the Sharks were pushing to tie things up for the last 10 minutes or so, and it was just impossible for the Penguins to turn the offense back on. But Klingberg, not even the goals, like just his the decision making has been so much better with him as of late. His ability to kind of just not make those dumb plays, not trying to overdo things as much, and I think that's where he's settling in, right? And just being a more effective player and utilizing the players around him. And again, we'll see, right, if this is a blip on the radar with Klingberg, and we're back to the Klingberg situation. But if he continues to do this, like, the Sharks are going to have a very effective player who's going to help them score more goals. And the Sharks, right, they need some more goals. But yes, happy to see the Klingberg graphic today, because, and even early on, like even when the Sharks were down, like he was playing very well in this game. Like he was not the reason why the Sharks were down 5-1 at this point. We'll talk about some of that at the end of the podcast here, but just a huge performance, right? Toffoli getting the 2 goals, like I said. William Eklund, starting the game demoted to the third line here, as they kind of carried over what we saw from the Leafs game. And Eklund could have pouted and stuff like that, but no, like you saw Eklund get to work. And I know the lines are going to be all screwed. Like, we're not going to do the normal lines thing today because there's just so many storylines to talk about. But Eklund went to work today and really was a big part, on his goal. Like, just that whole shift was massive, right? Just seeing what we see Eklund do, hunting pucks, getting the pucks, and just continuing to make things happen. Alex Wenberg was also huge. Like, there was so many massive performances today in this comeback. But we do have to talk about the elephant in the room here, and that is the Will Smith injury and how this can be a huge blow for the San Jose Sharks, and especially as this team continues to kind of figure things out. So we're going to talk about Will Smith and Chernyshev's injuries, and then kind of what why the Sharks might have to do something I know they really don't want to do if Smith is out for an extended period of time. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. The NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when a game starts to shift. Maybe you're down 5-1 in a certain hockey game, or a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. I still love, even though Christian McCaffrey a little banged up, I still think Christian McCaffrey gets a touchdown. And if you're feeling spicy, Darren Waller anytime touchdown on Monday Night Football. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you're a true diehard Sharks fan, the Everyday or All Access tier is built for you. You'll get one-on-one text access with me, all access episodes. We had a really fun one where we talked about an Alex Wenberg. What should the Sharks do with Alex Wenberg? So you get an exclusive newsletter and 15% discount to the Locked On merch store. Head over to lockedonsharks.supercast to join the Everydayer Club and unlock all access. You can also find the link in the show notes. So, Will Smith and Phil Chernyshov. So let's start with Will Smith, who of course, I think is the bigger news of the two, right? Smith gets absolutely crunched on the boards there, right? And you see he just grabs his shoulder, goes straight to the bench, looks like he's in a lot of pain. And of course, right, we're not going to know anything after the game, especially with the way the Sharks are with injuries, right? Even it'll probably be very much like. Week to week, a little bit. We probably won't really know what the full, timeline with Will Smith is, but it looked bad, right? I mean, we all saw the play. It looked bad, and it was very reminiscent to me of William Eklund's injury in the AHL, where he got his shoulder crunched and ended up needing shoulder surgery. I know, though, with Eklund, that was an issue all season long with him. And it just kind of finally snapped with him with that moment, right, where he was kind of playing through a shoulder injury all season long that year, trying to make it to the NHL and become a full-time NHL player. But so the hope is maybe it's not a separated shoulder type of issue. Again, I don't know. I'm speculating wildly here. I am not a doctor. I just play one on TV. But if it is any sort of long-term, month plus, even a couple, if it's 3 weeks plus, even that, if it's just any sort of long-term injury where the Sharks are going to have to play people up, San Jose is going to have to do something they probably don't want to do. And that's bring up top 6 reinforcements from the Barracuda. And whether that's Igor Chernyshov, who was the AHL Rookie of the Month in November, whether that's Quentin Musty, who can score as kind of that power forward first-round pick as well, whether it's Cam Lund, who saw NHL action last year and has been playing top-line minutes in the Barracuda. You have to bring up one of those types of players to help fill in for the loss of Will Smith, right? Because bringing up an Ethan Cardwell, who's more than deserving to be called up and being an NHL player, right? Or bringing up a Patrick Giles or Pavel Regenda, all those players, if you want to bring them up and play in the NHL, that's fine. But those guys are not going to fill the same role that Will Smith does, right? And I know Jeff Skinner got a run at the top. And I think Skinner's had a solid year and has been a little unlucky as of late. And I know you have William Eklund and you have some other top 6 players like into Foley and stuff, but you cannot try to replace Will Smith for any sort of length of time with guys like that, right? Will Smith is a offensive juggernaut at times, and he was on his game today. Yes, I know he, as always does, gets stoned on a breakaway. Yes, but Will Smith was a huge factor in the Sharks, especially in the first period, playing very well. And I think for San Jose, I know they want to let these guys, Chernyshov and Musty and Lund, develop in the AHL, but this team we know struggles to score. And as we've seen the last couple seasons before this year, right, where the Sharks have had to play guys up because they just didn't have other players, you have options here, right? This isn't you have to play Luke Cunningham as your second line center because we just don't have anybody else. The Sharks have other players that they can pull up. And even if you want to, let's give Chernyshov a run, see how that does, after a week or so. If it's just not working right, okay, let's get Lund up, give him a run, or give Musty a run. You have flexibility and options to bring these guys up, let them and put them in a position to succeed because they're going to be playing top 6 minutes, most likely either with Alex Wenberg, who was freaking awesome again today, or with Macklin Celebrini, who we just spent 6 minutes talking about how he's a franchise-changing player. And so, just if again, the hope is Will Smith, maybe hurt something, maybe it pops back into place and, he's out for a little bit or, maybe even by Tuesday, right? You saw Nick Leddy got his shoulder crunched. He was kind of out for a week and then he was kind of back into it. And maybe, of course, the Sharks might be a little bit more careful with a guy like Will Smith. But, we'll see here. But you cannot try to replace a guy like Will Smith with a guy and, just hope hey, maybe Skinner and Graf can, do a little bit more. You have guys who are drafted and developing to be top 6 players, especially in Chernyshov and Musty. This team is playing yes, they're getting outplayed most nights, but they continue to find ways to get things done. And maybe you catch a little bit of lightning in the bottle with some of these guys who, again, it's not like these are, 5th round, 6th round picks you're hoping to work out. These are high picks. Quentin Musty's a 1st round pick. Igor Chernyshov should have been a 1st round pick if he didn't have shoulder injury. There's plenty of reason to believe that these guys can step in, especially with how well they're playing in the AHL, that they can step in and make an impact here right away. So are they going to be Will Smith? No, but can they help fill the void of Will Smith not being there? I think they can better than guys, again, Skinners and Grafs and some of these other kind of middle 6 guys. I think they can. So speaking of middle 6 guys, Chernyshov also left this game. Felt bad for him going into the boards there, just an awkward play. The hope, just again, no update with him. Hope is it's maybe a short-term injury because he was playing on that top line with Celebrini here in this game. So we'll see. I feel like that one will be shorter and we'll probably have a little bit better idea with him. I would assume you'll probably hear day-to-day from Ryan Warsofsky at some point here in the next couple of days for Chernyshov. So he might be back as soon as Tuesday, or he might needs a little bit of time here. But I think you can get Chernyshov production from guys like Skinner and Graf, et cetera, et cetera. I just think for a guy like Will Smith, who's such an important part of the Sharks attack, I think you have to swing here for your young players like Chernyshov or Musty or Lund to come in and help to try to kind of fill that void without Will Smith. So we're going to talk about how the Sharks kind of got into this mess a little bit at the 5-1, when they were down 5-1. Looking at you, Nick Leddy. We'll talk about some of the other kind of big moments from this game and other kind of highlights and all that fun stuff. And we'll dig into the numbers a little bit here. So get to that in just 1 second. The holidays are amazing, but they can get overwhelming fast. Travel, gift, parties, year-end expenses. It's really easy to lose track of your money this time of year. That's exactly why Monarch has become such a game changer. If you want to keep your finances under control this holiday, you need to be using Monarch. Rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, simple dashboard. The holiday spending category can be a real lifesaver. You can see exactly what's left in your travel and gift budget in real time. Monarch makes money check-ins super simple, just a minute or two each week, and you're completely up to speed. And it's great for couples. Shared dashboards, shared goals, and fewer wait, how did we spend that much conversations. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. All right, before we continue, do of course want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Did Locked On Sharks make your Spotify Wrapped? Prove it on social media. Secure a free month for a brand new Everydayer Club. Just tag our national Locked On Podcast Network account on any social platform, and we'll drop you a code. Make sure it's the Locked On. You can tag Locked On Sharks. Love to see it. But Locked On Podcast Network, they're the ones with the codes. So be one of the first to join our Everydayers Club. You'll get favorite show ad-free and exclusive access to a members-only Discord channel. All right. Defensive issues today. Nick Leddy, tough day. So Leddy and Iorio both drew in. Liljegren was a healthy scratch, and Liljegren's performance has been a little up and down as of late. And Mukhamadullin was a game-time decision with an upper body injury that I guess he occurred in the last game against Toronto, and of course didn't play today. Because I thought Mukhamadullin played really well on Thursday, was more than deserving, I think, to stay in the lineup, but wasn't healthy, scratch. So Leddy draws in, and tough day at the office for Nick Leddy. Just not covering players, which I think for a defenseman is like your number one job. Last time I checked, is to defend players. I mean, it's right there in the name. But Leddy was a tough day today. I know he's at a -1 on the old plus minus thing, which again, plus minus horrible stat. But right, he was out there on the PK for goals. He's out there on the even strength goals. Like, just not a performance. I think you look at the tape and go, yep, let's bring him back. Like the Rutger McGroarty one was just brutal, right? And credit to McGroarty. That is an incredible shot. And I know some people were like, well, Askarov's got to save that. Like, dude, that was a rocket of a shot from Rutger McGroarty, like where he put it like top Swiss cheese, like top shelf right there where mom hides the cookies. Just a great shot from him. But Leddy just letting him kind of do what he wants and not really cover him very well. I want to see there from him. And some of the power play goals where he's just leaving guys like wide open. You think about the Brian Ruskell where like he is just not the Brian Ruskell, sorry, was it the Mantha goal? I don't know, one of the goals. It was the Hayes goal, sorry, the Hayes goal, where he just leaves Kevin Hayes. There's so many Penguins goals today. He just leaves Hayes like just wide open over there. I know like there's a little bit of confusion and he's trying to kind of maybe play the 2-on-1, but like make a decision. Either go up and put some pressure on the guy who has the puck and make it so he can't make the pass, or go cover the other guy, not just be stuck in no man's land. And I think it's very safe to say Leddy has easily climbed over Klingberg on public enemy number one for Sharks fans right now, and just a brutal performance from him. And if Mukhamadulin's healthy, he needs to be in over him. And if if Liljegren was in there today, the Sharks are not in this 5-1 hole because of him. So because I think it was a lot of just brutal plays from Leddy that kind of led to some of these Penguins goals. So quickly, this game was crazy just because of the swings, right? You look at the first period where the Sharks had 22 shot attempts to 12 at 5-on-5, but the Penguins just outshot the Sharks because of the power plays. They were just getting more opportunities there. And then the second period where the Penguins really put the foot on the gas at 5-on-5. They had 29 to 18 shot attempts with 14 to 6 actual shots, again at 5-on-5, with a couple of power plays in there as well to make things even worse for the Sharks. But credit to San Jose in the third period. 15 at 5-on-5 sits. So that's kind of like the middle of the period, right? They get the power play goal. They're up. They're down by 3. They really get the offense going. 15 to 13 shot attempts, but 12 to 7 actual shots. So you look at the third period where they had much better opportunities, much better job of getting pucks on actual net. 15 shot attempts, 12 of which those actually got on net. That is, did the math, that's 80%. You look at, again, the first period, 6 of 22, which is below 30%. So getting shots on net, or shot attempts are good. Getting shots on net, even better. And you saw the Sharks really start to, get going and be able to get the score. Yes, I know a couple of those goals came with the empty net with Askarov pulled, but again, you have to still kind of build up to that. And the Sharks had all the energy going there and the momentum going there. So this was, and credit to Askarov who battled in this game, right? You saw how physical the Penguins were running into them. This was a tough game for Askarov. He held in there, made some saves when he needed to. And the Sharks, again, able to find a way in this game. So massive win, way to end the road trip here, right? 2 big wins, 2 come from behind wins against both Toronto and then against the Penguins. A road trip where some people thought this team may not win any games on it. You win 3 out of 5, which again, 3 out of 5 against a very good, bunch of teams in here, right? Dallas, you lost 4-1. You beat Carolina 4-1. You lose to Philly in a no-show game. Fine. You come back win against Toronto. Come back win against Pittsburgh, and now it's now you face Calgary, which I think is going to be you cannot take them lightly, as we saw last time. So, all right, we'll see kind of the news that kind of comes out, of course, with Will Smith, Chernyshov. I guess Gaudette was also hobbling around as well. As the Sharks are, they're kind of going through it with the injuries a little bit right now. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. We'll be back Sunday, kind of look at the past week, unless there's any big news from Mike Grier and the Sharks. So we'll be back Sunday night. Then make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch the show on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until Sunday. Bye, friends.